So, Hammer Fiends, I am at Monster Bash 2011, and I'm sitting next to the very beautiful and very marvelous Caroline Munro. You ended up doing the Dr. Phibes films. Now, how did you land that role as Victoria Phibes? Very demanding role, Victoria
I was going to
Phibes.
say one of my most demanding roles. I'm not quite sure, to be honest, but I think because of the Lamb's Navy Rum, the posters, I think it was quite a visual thing, and they were just looking for somebody that would be suitable to play his wife, I think. So maybe I don't think there was any big secret. I think I didn't have to go after the role, that's for sure. They just asked me, but I was under contract to Hammer at the time, and Hammer didn't. I'm not sure that they were very keen on me to do the role, but I wanted to because of Vincent Price. I wanted to work with him, and they let me out, but no credit. I had no credit.
Did you stay around set to watch him while he worked a little bit on that film?
I absolutely. That was part of why I wanted to be there, just to watch the master work, and he was extraordinary. From his voice to just because he obviously his dialogue was all. After he was doing it to playback, so that was amazing to actually watch him, how he made his character come to life. I just think that was wonderful.
So you did Dracula, AD 1972, one of my favorite of the era, actually. I really like the camp value in that film. I really do. I enjoy it. But there's some very uncomfortable scenes for you in that film, lying on the altar, the Goblet of Kensington gore. What was that like, filming that? Was that uncomfortable?
It was slightly sticky. Yeah, very. But they liked the Kensington gore because it has the right consistency of the blood, apparently. Looks the right colour and has the right, what's the word? Weight, I suppose, to it. It was uncomfortable, but very necessary. It was part of it, and we filmed it over 2 days, and the one day we had the half a day with Christopher, and the rest was with all the young people. So we shot it, which was great, all in continuity.
That's helpful to an actor and actress.
Absolutely, which is very rare too. And I found it most enjoyable because I was working with Christopher and Stephanie Beecham and Marsha Hunt. It was just wonderful.
One of the highlights of the film for me is your rather devious look as Christopher bites your neck when you finally submit and enjoy it for the first time.
You're not quite sure, are you?
Oh, you're not at all. And then all of a sudden you have that very devious glint in your eye and a little smile. I love that. I think that's a wonderful piece of acting.
Thank you.
That's a scene that lives on. And of course, after that, you worked on Captain Kronos with Horst Janssen. What was it like working with Horst Janssen? I mean, and this was your first really meaty role for Hammer.
It was
Carla the Gypsy, the rather libidinous gypsy.
Yeah, no, I loved the role. I thought the role was super. I didn't know of Horst's work before, but he was pretty famous in Germany. And he made the most amazing Kronos, I think. Very dashing, and all the swordsmanship was him. Mm-hmm. It was him and William Hobbs, the fight arranger. So I think that worked incredibly well. He was very dashing and handsome, and we got on so well.
So I've heard you say that this is the character that you most identified with at the time. What was it about her personality that you did identify with? Was it her freedom, or what exactly was it? Okay.
I think she was incredibly down to earth because she had no shoes on, but
that's very, very close to the earth.
Very close, yeah. And I knew from the moment the crew got to throw eggs and tomatoes at me for the scene in the stocks.
Oh, so they did actually throw at you.
Oh no, they said we want it to look kind of realistic. Now, do you mind?
They just wanted to toss stuff at me.
My hair was in beautiful condition after that. I knew then that I was going to like this film. So I had, I think, about 5.5 wonderful weeks. Great thing was going into the makeup room in the morning, and they said, now you haven't washed your hair, have you? I said, nope. They said, right, don't wash it for a week. We need it to look suitably, scruffed up.
It must have been a mess after a week.
It was a mess, but it worked for her.
And at the Erskine Corps, from this era, I absolutely love this
Did you
movie.
love
I
that?
love At the Earth's Core. I think Peter Cushing in this film is
he's
his brilliant physical comedy
Oh.
that it's amazing. It's amazing that he wasn't able to do more of it in this
That's the
era
thing.
because he was brilliant.
People forget he did start out in comedy, and all the stuff, all the business that he did during Earth's Core, he bought all his props. He had the duck umbrella. He bought that along. I mean, he had the gloves, but he bought everything along, and his walk and his talking. He became this very eccentric, wonderful character. So it was wonderful to kind of watch the metamorphosis of him, and he became that. And Doug was a delight. Doug was, as he appeared on screen, just a lovely bloke.
Now, I understand that you got bonked on the head by one of the Mayhars. Is that true?
I
You
did. How did you know that?
I had to do a little research.
He's good. He's he's good. Very good. He knows his stuff.
So is that true? You got bonked on the head? That
I
must have
did.
been terrifying because those were heavy.
They
Those
were
big.
well. They were men in great big suits, and they were on Kirby wires. So you had this huge set in Pinewood, and they were meant to come from on the Kirby wires and shoot down, making the noises and stuff. And myself and Peter were in the middle, meant to be mesmerized by. So I think we didn't, for some reason, do a rehearsal. So I think Peter and I said, no, we'll just go for the, take on that and see what happens. But yeah, I think they overshot the mark or something. But I did, and I saw stars, and it's kept in the film.
Is that where you're kind of diving
Yes,
out of
no,
the
I'm
way?
it's actually, I'd just been bonked on the head, so it was actually kept in the film, I think. And Peter kind of grabs me because he realizes that actually, but it kind of worked.
It's a nice touch of reality.
It was real. It was real.
In a very
and
fine
all
film.
the stunts, all Peter's stunts. Because he wasn't that young then, but he did everything by himself. We all did everything, and it was quite hot at times because it's not like the CGI they have today. It was all,
all
real
real
flames.
flames, yeah.
Real flames. We
It
jumped
looks
through.
very dangerous. That entire
was
ending sequence. It's
good.
filmed wonderfully. It's edited.
Isn't it?
It's edited terrifically.
Isn't it? I don't think people realise that nothing was put on. It was all there, and we would just go for it and go through it. And I was a bit scared because I had really long hair then, and didn't want to catch on fire.
I think Maniac is a wonderful film. It's a film that you can't walk away from without feeling a little dirty after watching it, which I think is the point of the film. Absolutely. You're not supposed to feel good about watching this film. You're supposed to feel ooky. You're not rooting for the murders.
Really.
Yeah.
No, you're not. You're not quite sure because he's so disturbed, and you kind of feel sympathy for him, but you feel revulsion at the same time. So
He's
it's a
brilliant.
mixed feeling.
He's absolutely brilliant in the film. What an actor.
What an actor. I mean, he was far too young to go. We worked again after that.
The
on
last
another
horror film, right?
Yeah, we were lucky enough to work again, and we had plans to do more stuff together. But he was extraordinary, I think, in that. I mean, he was so believable. And the interesting thing was, he would go from doing those very desperate scenes with the mannequins in Maniac, and then Bill would say, right, coffee break, coffee. So then he'd stop, come completely out of character, and just be Joe.
Yes.
He was astounding. I think it was maybe Robert Redford or maybe not Robert Redford. No, sorry, Robert De Niro, who said that Joe was the best character screen actor of his time at that time. So that's some accolade.
That is some accolade for sure.
He really did. He worked with everybody. He worked with Stallone, and he was amazing, really. And I was lucky enough to work with him 3 times.
3 times.
Terror transmission.